afternoon. It's Tuesday, January 26th. I'm Laura Cornfield, and this is IBA News broadcasting from Jerusalem. 24-year-old Shlomit Krigman, who was fatally stabbed in a terror attack in Beit Horon yesterday evening, succumbed to her wounds early this morning at the Hadassah Hospital in Mount Scopus. She was laid to rest this afternoon at Jerusalem's Har HaMenuchot Cemetery. Krigman was raised in Shadmot Mechola in the Jordan Valley and recently moved to Beit Horon, where she lived with her grandparents. She headed the community's Bnei Akiva Youth Movement activities, a position she was filling as part of her national service. Aviad Yisraeli, spokesman of Shadmot Mechola, described Shlomit as a sweet, smiling, and friendly person. He said his community was devastated by her death and promised to find the right way to commemorate her. The condition of 58-year-old Adina Cohen, who was also stabbed in the Beit Horon attack, is said to be improving as she remains hospitalized at the Shaarei Tzedek Medical Center. Meanwhile, the army has beefed up its presence on highways in Judea and Samaria following Monday's attack, which was the third such incident in the past week in which terrorists infiltrated settlements. IBA's Margot Dudkevich has the details.
It was early evening and bitterly cold and stormy when the two terrorists armed with knives and 3 pipe bombs entered Beit Horon near Highway 443 undetected. They encountered Shlomit Krigman and 58-year-old Adina Cohen outside the local store and stabbed them, leaving them lying on the ground in a pool of blood. The terrorists then attempted to force their way into the store but were pushed back by Moti Shalem, who used a shopping cart to block their access. The terrorists then fled towards the entrance of the community where they were shot dead by a security guard. The two terrorists were identified as 23-year-old Ibrahim Osama Alan from the nearby village of Beitu Atachtach and Hussein Abu Rosh, 17, of the Kalandia refugee camp. Paramedics tried desperately to stabilize 24-year-old Shlomit Krigman, who was critically injured and rushed to Hadassah Hospital in Mount Scopus. Despite doctors' efforts to save her, she succumbed to her wounds before dawn this morning. The second victim, Adina Cohen, was evacuated to Jerusalem Shaarei Tzedek Hospital. Today, doctors said her condition is improving. Following the attack, sappers dismantled 3 pipe bombs left by the terrorists, and forces called on residents to remain in their homes as they searched the community to rule out the possibility of additional terrorists. Soldiers later cordoned off the village of Beitu Atachtach. Last night's attack poses serious questions concerning how the terrorists entered the community. It is the third such terror attack to occur inside Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria in the past week, and is viewed by the security establishment as a serious escalation. Margot Dudkevich, IBA News.
A short time ago, IBA's Margot Dudkevich spoke with Yehudi Tayar, a resident of Beit Horon and a member of the community's rapid response team.
It was a personal loss for all of us. The family is one of the founders of the community, and the girl herself, Shlomit, she did her national service here in the community. She was a giver, a lover, a person who worked with children. She's a third generation here in the community. And we had, aside from the tragedy, 15 minutes before the terror attack, it's right next to the children's nursery school, and all of the children would be going out. Our injured lady is working in the nursery, and she was leaving work when she was attacked by the terrorists.
Is it known how the terrorist entered Beit Horon?
Yes. From the fence that goes down to the canyon, to the wadi. They were equipped with explosive devices. They must have had a very, very good backing of a terror cell. Obviously, this was planned, and they were aided and abetted by terrorists.
It's the third such attack in the past week whereby terrorists have succeeded in infiltrating Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria. Do you think the government is doing enough to protect residents?
I think that the military is not allowed to prevent it from happening instead of responding. It's something that has to be dealt with, that there has to be prevention, there has to be tighter means of penalties to those who dare to attack soldiers or civilians. no matter if it's inside or outside of communities.
Shortly after the attack in Beit Horon, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu instructed the security establishment to prepare a comprehensive plan to protect Jewish communities in Judea and Samaria. Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon accused the Palestinian Authority of incitement, saying inflammatory material posted on social media network pages on the official PA television station and its educational system motivate terrorists to carry out attacks. President Reuven Rivlin expressed his condolences and stressed that Israel will continue to fight against terrorism and the incitement which drives it. The Shin Bet security agency revealed that it arrested Palestinian twin sisters from the village of Shuaiki near the West Bank city of Tulkarem who planned to carry out attacks against Israelis. 18-year-old Diana and Nadia Hawila were detained at the end of December and have been charged with preparing explosives and plotting attacks. A search in their home revealed weapons, pipe bombs, a knife, and fertilizer to assemble bombs, as well as Hamas headbands. The two told investigators they learned to assemble explosive devices after watching online video clips. Israeli officials in the Army Southern Command believe Hamas may have tunneled across the border into Israel. Engineering crews in the area have been instructed to maintain a high state of alert, with security forces intensifying searches along the border with Gaza. The assessments are based on recent statements made by Hamas leaders who said they are preparing for a new war. Military officials noted that the wet weather conditions in recent days provide a perfect cover for terrorists to build tunnels, but at the same time could cause their collapse. Earlier this week, a 30-year-old Palestinian was killed east of Khan Yunis when the walls of a tunnel he was building fell down. During Operation Protective Edge in Gaza in 2014, security forces destroyed some 30 tunnels constructed by Hamas. Tackling yet another threat, Prime Minister Netanyahu today warned against radical Islamists who use technology for malicious purposes. Speaking at the annual Cyber Tech Security Conference in Tel Aviv, Netanyahu said there is a growing struggle between the forces of good and the forces of evil, led by Islamic extremists who have mastered the art of cyber. He added that such extremists use technology that is intended to push humanity forward in order to take the world back, and vowed that Israel was committed to fighting these dangers. Yesh Atid party leader Yair Lapid convened a press conference for foreign journalists where he laid out his plans for the future of the state. Speaking at the Jerusalem Press Club, Lapid called for a comprehensive regional agreement and a unilateral Israeli pullout from parts of the West Bank, while clearly stating his intentions to become the next prime minister.
At the next election, I'll be running for prime minister, and we'll ask the Israeli public for their support. We will offer a way forward for a better Israel. We will campaign as a strong political center that loves this country and have a vision for solving the Israeli-Arab conflict, a vision for strengthening Israeli society, a vision for repairing our international standing.
Former Jewish Home MK Ynnon Magal reacted publicly to the police recommendation to close the criminal investigation against him. Speaking outside his home last night, Magal told reporters that his life has come to an abrupt halt following the latest affair in which he faced a series of sexual harassment allegations by a number of women who worked with him in the past. Magal said he was vilified and humiliated together with his whole family. He added that he had paid an extremely high price by cutting short his political career and resigning, even though there were no specific charges against him. At the same time, Magal urged all the women who accused him of sexual wrongdoing to file proper complaints with police and to not conduct a trial against him on Facebook and social media. While he apologized and stressed he had no intention to hurt anyone, he said, "It can't be that a man will suddenly wake up in the morning and learn that he is a sexual offender." Turning to the U.S., and with 1 week to go to the Iowa caucus, which marks the official start of the nominating season, presidential candidates Hillary Clinton, Bernie Sanders, and Ted Cruz are feverishly working to shore up support for their campaigns. Speaking with members of the Jewish Federation of Des Moines while battling a sore throat, Democratic candidate Hillary Clinton highlighted her commitment to the State of Israel.
More than policy, it's personal. I've had the great experience of visiting Israel many times, of making friends with so many of the leaders and activists who have built Israel and who have continued to fight and defend it. And I have been in the middle of the raucous debate that Israeli democracy represents. And it is, for me, a very deep connection. We are two nations woven together, lands built by immigrants and exiles. Yet even with all of our history and our common interests and our shared values, we cannot ever take this relationship for granted. If you will stand up for me at the caucus next Monday, I promise to stand up for you every single day as president, to listen to you, to fight for you, and with your help, to deliver the kind of results our country and world deserve. Thank you all very much.
Ahead of International Holocaust Remembrance Day, which is marked tomorrow, German Chancellor Angela Merkel attended the opening of a new exhibition in Berlin that features the art of Holocaust survivors. The display, said to be the largest of its kind outside of Israel, showcases some 100 paintings from Jerusalem's Yad Vashem Holocaust Memorial Museum. The works of art were created by Jewish inmates at concentration camps and ghettos. Of the 50 artists whose works are featured in the exhibition, 24 were killed by the Nazis. Speaking at the event, Merkel said the individual stories of the Holocaust remain deeply rooted in Germany's national conscience and pledged to seriously deal with the rising anti-Semitic attacks in her country.
A wonderful experience for the future generation to learn from it. And my art probably was in a way like an art therapy. It saved me from any atrocities, and that kept me very occupied because we were sitting in that room and you couldn't go outside. And this kept me busy. And I call them my watercolor friends.
At the end of the day, after you are going along this kind of an exhibition, you understand that the human spirit prevails at the end of the day. And this is a unique message that this kind of an exhibition brings with it. It was very difficult to take it out from Jerusalem to any place in the world. But we thought that if we should start to present this kind of an exhibition, Berlin is a right place because it started in Berlin. And this was the center. And still the ideology is hovering somewhere. And the German society and state has a deep commitment and responsibility for the future. So we thought that this kind of a message of human values should be presented first in Berlin.
In local money matters, shares were down in the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, while the shekel strengthened in foreign currency trading. Here are the late afternoon numbers. Turning to the weather and to the disappointment of many, mainly children, Jerusalemites woke up this morning to an almost snow-free city. Despite the predictions, near-freezing temperatures, and damp conditions, residents of the capital were forced to carry on their business as usual. Roads leading to and from Jerusalem remained open, as did schools and kindergartens. The stormy weather continued throughout the day and across the country, with elevated areas and mountainous regions experiencing a mild snowfall. The white flakes accumulated mostly in the Gush Etzion region, the Galilee and north of the country. Well, the somewhat shamed weather forecasters are predicting rainstorms and cold temperatures to continue for the next 24 hours. Here's a look at the highs and lows at home and abroad. And that's all for this newscast. Ari O'Sullivan will be here tomorrow, same time, same channel. Make sure to join him. I'm Laura Cornfield wishing you a good evening and shalom from Jerusalem.